I'm 10 years into working. I've built a 200K investment portfolio. I've closed my first rental property. I'm making six figures. I feel like I finally have something to say about the lessons I wish I had learned about money before I started a real, quote unquote, real job. And so if I had known these lessons, not only would I be a lot richer today, I'd probably be a lot happier as well, just from knowing the things that I could have done with my money early on and how much of an impact that would have had on my life. And so the first thing that I wish I had known about money before I got a real job has to do with investing. I wish I had known that I could not beat the market. And I wish I had known that 99% of people that claim they can beat the market won't be able to do it, or won't be able to do it over 10, 15, 20 years. I would definitely have more money today if I had just peacefully, quietly invested in an index fund that tracked the S&P 500, combined with small cap index fund, combined with a Canadian index fund, combined with emerging markets and international indexes as well. Just a fund that tracks the world that I don't really have to think about unless the world decides to go to shit, for the lack of a better word. And so if I had done that, not only would I have a lot more money today, it also would have been easier, because all I would have had to do was put my money every single month into the same place. I wouldn't have had to think about what investments to make. I wouldn't have to read annual reports and accounting statements and cash flow statements and do discounted cash flow analysis. And I wouldn't have had the stress of checking the stock market every single day, hoping that it went up, it went up, it went up, and then feeling bad when things are going down, down, down. I would have skipped all of that and would have made my life so much better. The second lesson I wish I had learned about money is that saving money only works if you actually save it. And so there were so many times when I would save $1,000 or $2,000 a month, but then a few months later, I'd be thinking about, oh, what if I wanted to learn this course? What if I wanted to take this class and learn a skill to make money? And a lot of the time, the result was that I took the class, I felt like I learned, but I had a few $1,000s less in my bank account. And I'm not saying that learning is bad. It's certainly useful to learn a high income skill when you don't have a lot of money. But when you're already making six figures, there's no reason why I should not stick to some kind of investment plan. Now, back then I was not making six figures, but I was making enough and living a low enough standard of living, because China is really cheap, so that I should have been able to save towards my long-term goals and buy the course at the same time. Maybe instead of going on that vacation or going to have that fancy dinner, I could have spent that money on the course if I had really wanted to. And so today, for sure, as I am making six figures, I fully believe that anyone making six figures, unless you're living in a super expensive city like New York, should definitely be able to retire wealthy, saving $2,000 to $3,000 a month. And that should be the baseline, absolute must before I'm thinking about any kind of course or coaching program that I am investing into, because that will provide me the peace of mind, and that will essentially de-risk any downside, right? I can now afford any downside as long as I'm saving these $2,000 to $3,000 a month, because I know my retirement is taken care of. That freedom of mind and peace of mind allows me to take so many more educated, calculated risks with my time and money, that in fact it's what allowed me to build this YouTube channel in the first place. And so that's really the second lesson. Whenever I save money, actually save the money and have a plan for that money. Third lesson that I learned with my money that I wish I knew before I had a real job is actually how to spend money. I thought that spending money is just going on vacations, buying nicer things, going out to fancy dinners, going out with people, like having fun. But 99% of people spend money this way, and 99% of people are broke. It wasn't until I learned time arbitrage, the actual way we should be spending our money, that so many people don't even agree with, that I realized how much freedom I could actually buy back in my life. And so I remember having this argument with my wife as I was growing this YouTube channel. She was adamant on the fact that this YouTube channel should be generating income before I hire a video editor. But in my mind, I knew that the barrier to me growing this YouTube channel is video editing. I abhor video editing. Okay, I don't hate it, I don't abhor it, but it takes me 5 hours, and I hate the fact that it takes me 5 hours to edit a single video. And I'm not even good at it. Like 5 hours later, it's not even a great edit. And so the most freeing thing for me was hiring a video editor, and that was actually what got me to post consistently. That was actually what got me to build monetization on this YouTube channel. And the time that I got back because of that, I could have been spent on so many more precious experiences, like going out with family, like taking care of my son, or building this business. And the idea is that I was already making 6 figures with my job, right? Why would I separate my income from work and my income from this YouTube channel? It didn't make any sense. I mean, there's so many companies with different branches. So for example, Alibaba has like 6 different business units, and it's so common for the cash flows from one business unit to cover the growth of another business unit before it becomes profitable. And so this is literally what I'm doing with the YouTube channel. Right now, it's not profitable because I have a video editor, but the cash flows are going, ad revenue is growing up, the channel is growing. And so my question to you is, what can you spend your money on that will save you time? It doesn't matter if you're making a lot of money or not a lot of money. Can you hire a cleaner? Can you hire a cook? Maybe delivery does make sense if you have a better thing to do with your time. And I'm not saying be financially irresponsible and Uber everywhere and just call delivery all the time. What I am saying is, if you are meeting your savings goals, long-term savings goals, and you are going to retire perfectly fine and well and wealthy, by the way, if you need help with that, click the link below, because I think there are a few things you need to do and implement before you can actually get to a point where everything is automated and you can retire early. And so if you need help with that, click the link below, reach out, but it doesn't really matter to me. What I want to focus on right now is the idea that if you have your retirement taken care of, you have an investing plan, you're maxing out your Roth IRAs or 401ks or other tax advantaged accounts, the next thing, literally the next thing you should be thinking about is how you can buy your time back. Yeah, to the point where I'm thinking, if, you know what, like parts of my job can be automated with simple AI subscription, I'd be happy to do it. Right now, one of my students is literally building an app that helps teachers grade essays. I would gladly pay for that, okay? So we went through a few things. We went through simplifying investments. We went through saving money and actually saving it, not taking it out. We went through buying back your time, right? And I hope you see the theme here, right? The theme here is actually having an investment plan that will help you retire early, and then funneling all of your time and resources into time freedom. The next thing that I wish I had known about wealth and money before I got a real job is how value is actually created. And so I was always thinking, okay, make more money, make more money, make more money. The only thing that I would use to decide whether or not I would do extra work is whether or not it paid. And that is a very elementary, short-term way of thinking about work, because work in itself builds skills. If you are in a worthwhile career, then you are in a career that is building you skills that have value, and different work builds different skills. And so I, for example, in my naivete, in my ignorance of how this worked, I wanted to teach less. At one of the earlier schools I was at, I was pretty good at computers and Excel, so I decided to help with making the exam table, with the timetable, with managing the student information system. And so the principal at that time was really nice, and he said, you know what, like you can teach one less class and you can help me with this stuff. I was super happy to do it because it didn't take that long for me to do because I was good at it. But it was essentially a different work. Like I still had to learn. It was different work that I had to do. But you know, that went on my CV, and it gave me an opportunity to become the person that would make a timetable for a totally brand new school that was about to open at my next position. And now even at my current position, I'm very comfortable working with learning management systems. And so that one decision to take on extra work, it wasn't extra work at the time, it felt like a good deal at the time, but that one decision to do different work opened up so many doors for me. And I can comfortably say that compared to back then, my income has at least doubled doubled as a result. And so that one decision to do different work made all the difference. And so whether or not the work that you do has value is not decided by the amount of money you get paid today to do it, but the present value of all the money that you would get paid in the future because you know how to do that one thing. Same thing goes for a master's degree. Rarely is a master's degree ROI positive when you just think about how much extra money my current employer will pay me because I have this master's degree. But all of a sudden it becomes really, really worthwhile if you think about the doors that a master's degree can open for you in terms of the people you meet, the new opportunities that you wouldn't have had access to if you didn't have the degree.